People is probably wondering why over this last year or so we haven't been as active on the smuggling. Well, there's a number of reasons for that. Um, there actually was a proposal on the table which would have benefited the government plus the community. And it would also have pulled a number of smugglers into line, but unfortunately the government, for some reason whatsoever, didn't go for it. Well, I just want to assure the smugglers now that we're back and we are going to hold you accountable, because the money you are making is financing the terrorists in South Armagh and other parts of Northern Ireland. And there's Protestants tied up to their neck in it as well, who are fronting operations for the IRA, Sinn Féin, dissident, whatever you want to call them. They're all the same. Well, this question I would ask people to ask the British government: how much money have you got in assets in South Armagh, in actual assets, with the exception of one main smuggler who wasn't actually a Republican. He was a smuggler but not involved for the paramilitary end of it, which I suppose people say one's as bad as the other, but at least he wasn't a paramilitary. Putting him to the side, I would ask for our politicians to ask the government how much in assets have they actually seized over this last 10 years belonging to the Godfathers. Now, they made a big play about Slab Murphy in Manchester, the 250 properties. Have you heard much about it lately? Slab Murphy has been prosecuted in the south of Ireland. They're talking about fining him €1 million, which is another and total joke, and it's an insult to the memory of people who tried to protect that border against people like Murphy and the other tramps that are involved in this. They're working hand in hand with people from Belfast, from Magherafelt, from Tyrone, Fermanagh, Acher, Clacker, different places. Now, we know these are, and we're going to push the government to make sure that they go after these. You have had long enough to get your act together. To get your act together. You haven't done it. You still think now by terrorising the communities, by blowing up a few police stations and shooting up a few places, that you can drive the security forces out of the ground. Well, we're demanding that they put more onto the ground. And sooner or later, they will listen to us. They will have to do it. And we've met with this new government. We did meet with them before they became this new government, and they have made commitments about how they're going to deal with the smugglers. And we intend to make sure that they have the information to get these boys, because these boys are using terrorism to make money. They're terrorising the community so the police can't come into it, so they can make millions off the backs of the ordinary law-abiding Catholic and Protestant. It's not just Protestants this is affecting, it's also affecting people from the Catholic community. And I think the SDLP and them need to waken up to that fact, that this is just not about the Protestant community. There's law-abiding Catholics out there as well who don't want this going on. But just because Slab Murphy has taken a step back, and a few other new recruits have come into his place, well, not say new recruits, maybe not so well known, like the big fella and all these ones to talk about. Well, Mr. D, and I'm not saying your full name just at the minute because I'm not too sure what way we stand legally, but Mr. D, you can be assured of this, you're going down too. Slab Murphy came down. He mightn't be prosecuted the way we want him, but he's not operating the way he wanted to. And I can assure you, Mr. D and Mr. Carr and the rest of the cowboys up there, that the government is coming after you. I'm going to a meeting tomorrow and I'll be giving a number of your names to the government, and we will be demanding that they go after you and hunt you down, that they actually take the assets away from you. Because we know for a fact there wouldn't have been £2 million taken off the whole of South Armagh in the last 10 years. And that's what it boils down to, a joke. Now, if the Asset Recovery Agency, or SACA, or whatever you want to call them, like to be embarrassed by their actions, that's fair enough, but we don't. We will not take simple apologies or explanations as excuses. until we see these assets taken off these mothers and them left where they should be, and that's in a caravan on the side of the road, we will continue to push and push and push, because it's only whenever you cut the lifeline, and in this case the lifeline is the money, and the money that's been made in South Armagh is no different today than what it was 20 years ago. And just give you a quick example, and I had a journalist with me. I was at a petrol station today, and out of the one fill of petrol, I saved £10. I got it £10 cheaper than I would have got it down in Market Hill or anywhere else in Northern Ireland. Now, there's not that much profit in petrol that you can have that big a difference. But the journalist was with me, seen it with his own eyes, and I just want to assure you now, your petrol stations, your fancy houses, your see the people who let these petrol stations out as well. I think this is something that needs to be addressed. The Protestants who are letting these petrol stations out to IRA, or a little bit of dissidents, whatever you want to call them, it's all the same as far as we're concerned. The people who's letting them out to them can't turn the blind eye away from this, because you're letting them make money by using your property simply because you're leasing it to them. You're not guilty. Well, you are guilty whenever you allow Republicans from South Armagh and Tyrone and other parts to come in and operate. And we're demanding now of the Justice Minister, and as well as that, the Customs and the serious organised crime, you name it, and we'll be pushing it to make sure that they finally close the coffin on the money that you men have been making. No more. You have made enough. No more on the backs of the law-abiding citizens. You're destroying the businesses within South Armagh and other parts of Northern Ireland because people can't compete with that. Well, I can assure you now, you be under no illusion. This message is going right into the heart of Westminster. The money you are making, whenever Westminster hears about their budget and they talk about saving 200 million, well, we told them that they could save 250 million alone if they looked at the fuel, never mind the cigarettes or the VAT or the rest that goes on. There's maybe £1 billion could be saved right along the whole border by simply clamping down on youth thugs, and we're going to make sure that happens. So Slab Murphy thought it would never come to his door. It took a long time, but it did. It's coming to your door, Mr. D, and it's coming to Mr. Hanratty as well, and I feel them all cronies up there who think they are the law and order within South Armagh when they're not. And the other thing I would like to finish with, the John George Hughes of this world and the Slab Murphys, the government may be playing a game by pretending that they're actually doing something, but I want to assure you we're going to make sure that it's no game. We want to see the actual assets, and we want to see it coming over to the victims, especially if the victims are going to be the ones who actually get caught in the first place.